Welcome, and thank you for tuning in to the human training your dog is begging you for. Need help understanding your dog's behavior, what makes them tick, why they're doing what they're doing or won't do what they're supposed to do? You've come to the right place. We're Charles and Laura Countryman, the founders of Canine Culture Dog Training in Dallas, Texas.
Good morning.
As well as senior trainer and head of dog evaluations, Wyatt.
Hello.
And lead trainer, Julie.
Hello.
As always, our main mission is to help with training, behavioral, or could be emotional, maybe even health and happiness issues of your dog. Our goal is to help you understand your dog better, learn more about creating behaviors you'd like to see more, and hopefully learn how to replace some of those behaviors that you'd like to see less of. We want to help you have a dog that really is a joy to live with. And on this episode, is that your dog? How embarrassing when it's time to get a trainer. We all have, we've all seen dogs that are like, oh my gosh, that dog is crazy. And not bad, just insane, embarrassing. Most people that actually, if I was going to say, Wyatt, 50-60% of the people that sign dogs up for dog training, it's because they're embarrassed, right?
Yep, and pulling is usually the biggest thing with that. And it's not just pulling, it's just out of control, front legs off the ground, your dog's choking
itself.
Sounding like you're killing your dog. Yeah. People are giving you the stink eye because you are abusing your animal. And they're just out of control. And you're not. Yeah. The dog's doing it to themselves.
Right.
And if it actually hurt them, they would stop.
Right.
Dogs are big babies, usually.
Yeah.
That's usually the worst one. Jumping on people, knocking people over is the other one.
But it's embarrassment.
But it's usually embarrassment is the reason why we train.
I find definitely the majority of people that seek help and bring their dog in for dog training with us, it's because their dog's behavior is embarrassing. And then the other 40 to 50%, it's behavioral issues.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, a good solid half, it's just pure embarrassing. They don't even want to take their dog anywhere because they're just embarrassed. Out in the community, what are embarrassing, behaviors that you see a lot of, Julie?
Oh, in the community, I was actually more thinking about just in the home even.
Oh, okay.
Whenever people come over and their dogs act a fool within the home. So it's not always about what happens in public.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting too that a lot of times if there's a lot of problems within the home, then that obviously leaks into what's going out there.
Else,
yeah. So to me, it would be more just the overexcitement, kind of tagging along with the jumping and then the pulling and all of that. It all gets together and it's just becomes a lot. And again, it goes back to the embarrassment. I think I agree definitely that's why the owners will want their dogs trained is because they're embarrassed with their dog's behavior.
And then with embarrassment, you end up not inviting people over very much.
Yeah.
Or people don't want to come to your house.
Yeah. So you arrange your whole life based off of your dog.
Well, like, who the heck wants to go to someone's house? Their dog just humps their leg the whole time.
Yeah.
Or jumps on them nonstop and won't stop pestering them.
Yeah. The problem is it's a negative feedback loop. Your dog acts up, so less people come over. So when someone does come over,
it's even more exciting.
They're more excited.
It's like, oh my God, finally another human.
Means less people come over, which makes it worse. It's like walking is the same thing.
And then, a common solution is that people think is, well, I'll just put them in the backyard.
Yeah.
Well, now it just makes it worse because the dog so badly just wants to get in there and interact with people. So when you finally do let him, he's even worse because it's a never-ending loop. You've got to face it head on. Mm-hmm. You have to teach the dog how to behave.
Yeah,
that's what it comes down to.
Well, the fear of it is your dog getting frustrated.
Yes,
and that's where the anger comes in.
And the biting.
And now he'll be nipping because he's frustrated, just like a kid throws a temper tantrum. Dogs have a version of their own temper tantrum. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah. What's behavior that you've noticed a lot, Laura, that just
is embarrassing to people? When people think their dogs are well behaved and they take them to like outdoor patios.
Oh, yeah.
And then they're not well behaved, or they let their dogs get on the table. They do crazy stuff because they think their dog it's behaved until they take
So
them
that
out
would
to
be
the
the
world.
opposite of what Julie described.
Yeah.
In their home, they have a pretty
Yeah. And
No,
their
they take
dog.
them out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some people think you train a dog one place, it's going to be awesome every place else, but that's not true fact.
No.
So that was embarrassing to people. I've seen that, very embarrassing. And then they don't know what to do. Then they get mad. Then they leave and they do whatever they do. But yeah, that's embarrassing.
I think that's the part that makes me so frustrated is when people get angry at their dogs in that moment
Yeah.
because of this one behavior that the dog is doing, but it's really related to a million decisions that they've made for
Yes.
that dog that has created this bad behavior.
Yeah.
that pattern.
And then they get
Yeah.
mad as though the dog is supposed to understand.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's just not fair. You wouldn't
It's
do
not
that with
fair
a
to the
kid.
dog. Right.
You wouldn't even do that with an adult, like expecting someone to just read your mind and know
You wouldn't
what you're
hire
supposed
a
to
new
do.
employee and then, immediately expect them how to
Right.
fill that job. You're going
Yeah.
to train
Right.
them to do the job.
Yeah.
But what I personally do constantly, I gotta stop myself from doing with Pickles,
hmm
is when he isn't as good as Abby,
Yeah.
as I
you
expected.
compare.
That's
my
true.
older dog
Yeah.
to be. He's really good, but like every once in a while, he's still maybe 2 years old,
Yeah.
and he
So
won't
he's
do
still immature.
a perfect off leash heel that I'm asking for. He'll start pulling
Yeah.
to go to the lure track or something like that. And it's got to stop
Some
yourself
high
from
value.
getting actually
Yeah.
angry at him and teach him how to do it again. Maybe
Yeah.
go back to a training tool you thought you've gone away from. I know I'm doing that with him with the e-collar right now. Is we're
Yeah.
just got to go back to it because he's getting rusty.
Yeah.
Well, and then to add to that, we forget that dogs have their days.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like
We do.
even exactly. So even the best well-trained dogs will have their days where today they're like, I don't want to, or I don't care, or I'm gonna choose to break. Whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, dogs
We
have
just
off
need to
days just
remember
like
that.
humans.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely. And like you said, Julie, be fair with your dog. That was a perfect example. You wouldn't expect certain things of a small child. So why in the world would you expect that from a dog?
Mhm.
I remind our clients a lot that thank God dogs learn faster than kids.
That's true.
Yeah.
Because can you
Yeah.
imagine?
Good
Can you
Lord.
imagine if it took you a year to potty train your dog?
No, it'd be bad.
It takes about a year to potty train a child? I can't remember. It was so long ago.
Well, maybe not that long, but
But it takes
yeah.
it takes a heck of a lot longer than about 10 days.
Oh, no. Yeah.
Potty train a puppy.
Yeah.
Let alone if you got like a Cane Corso puppy.
Yeah.
That's just huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, you would, I don't think a lot of people stop to realize the behaviors that we want to see our dog have, whether it's like you said, Julie, in our home or you, Laura, out in the community, we have to actually show our dog that behavior. We have to teach him the behavior that we would like them to do. And then we have to repeat the behavior over and over and over until it becomes their behavior, their pattern.
It's just hard when you want their behavior to be calm and collected when they're acting crazy. So
Yeah.
you have
Yeah.
to be calm and
But it's
not
hard.
get angry at your dog, even though it's being bad, crazy. It's hard.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
And
of
if you are
patience.
frustrated, then stop.
Yeah.
Did that ever work with your
Sure.
parents when they got frustrated with you?
Nope.
No, it didn't make it fun learning in that environment. Well, you're not making it fun learning with your dog's environment. And if you're trying to teach them a behavior, they may have a negative connotation of that behavior now
Yep.
because you were angry and frustrated and made it extremely unpleasant for them to learn.
Yeah.
So you're better off just stop, do it another day. Doesn't mean letting them get away with bloody murder, but that's not the right training environment for your dog at all. Yeah, jumping on people is definitely, the two biggest reasons everybody comes for dog training that are not emotional, bad behavior based. Bad behavior would be aggression, something like that, or anxiety for behavior or emotional. Leash pulling, you mentioned Wyatt, and jumping on people.
Yeah.
91% of everybody that steps through the doors to come into canine culture dog training, it's for leash pulling.
Yeah.
They're being walked by their dog. They're not walking their dog. And after a while, they're just either they stop walking their dog because it's not worth it, or they walk at 4:00 in the morning when there's nobody else out.
Yep.
Because, they're so embarrassed, or they walk late at night. Same reason. They're trying to avoid people and avoid dogs because their dog's behavior is so embarrassing.
Problem is avoiding your problems.
And then you're back in that vicious loop you talked about.
Yep.
You're just making it worse because you're not teaching the dog how to power through that,
So the sooner you start fixing the problem with the trainer, the faster it will turn around. If you have a dog that's been pulling for 5 years, it's going to be harder to get him out of that than if you have a 8-month-old puppy that's been pulling for 4 months.
Right.
So that's something.
Practiced
Yeah.
behavior last.
Yeah. Yes. So that's something to think about when you start thinking about training. Is it's best to start training between, I'm thinking 6-7 months to a year. I mean, that's would be ideal for, I think, all dogs. Except for rescue dogs, you don't get. But if you have a puppy, you should start thinking about doing puppy classes. Petco, PetSmart's one of those does free socialization. There's no training. They just socialize with other puppies, which is awesome.
Yeah.
And then a little puppy class, and then get into formal training when they get up, when they're matured about 6 months old. That's how you quit. That's how you nip it in the bud, so you never have all these embarrassing behaviors of your doggies.
Yep.
And if you don't, then you have a dog that like came in today, 4-year-old German Shepherd, quite human aggressive.
Yeah.
And I was visiting with him. I asked, how long have you had your dog? Since he's a puppy.
Yeah.
I said, why now? You've had him for 4 years.
Yeah.
He's always been human aggressive, but he likes his mom. He likes his roommate, and one other person that he sees a lot. I said, well, what prompted you to address this now? You've had your dog for 4 years. He said, well, I just started a new job as a airline pilot, and now I'm going to have travel. I can't board my dog anywhere.
Yeah.
I can't have someone else come watch my dog. I can't, as long as my mom's available, I'm home free, but she has a life.
Yeah.
And it doesn't resolve around my dog.
Yeah.
But there's an example of what you said. 4 years of practicing and reinforcing that behavior, it just gets stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger. The sooner you nip that problem in the bud, the less likely it's a problem.
Yeah.
It's more of an inconvenience.
Or just some basic, what happens if my perfect little life, something inconvenient happens, like you got a job,
right?
Just because you can live with your dog as it is right now,
can someone else?
What happens when one minor thing goes wrong,
right?
Or something changes? Can you board your dog? Can you leave your dog somewhere?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's an emergency. Can you go? Hey, I've got this great dog. Can you watch him, best friend, for 10 days while I go to a funeral and it's drop of the hat?
Yeah.
And not, I can't go to a major funeral because I can't leave my dog anywhere to meet somebody.
And you can't take him with you because he'll eat somebody.
Yeah.
So you're still at the same problem, right? I don't know if there's a pain point, I guess. Eventually, someone's embarrassment is high enough that they say, enough's enough.
Yeah.
Energy, totally ridiculous, overly energetic dogs can be quite embarrassing to a lot of clients. And the go-to solution for most people is just walk your dog more. Now they're walking their dog 3, 4, or 5 times a day.
Yeah, that's not good.
Or 2 or 3 times, but they're walking them for 5 miles.
I
always laugh. I said, all you're doing is creating an athlete. And you're training an athlete. So by default, hope you want to be one because you're going to become one. And eventually that 3-mile walk is going to need to be a 5-mile walk because it takes longer and longer. They're not addressing the problem. They're trying to exhaust the dog.
Yeah. That's what I wanted to pinpoint, is that I feel like a lot of the problems is that the owners are not addressing the issue. And when you think about the issues of jumping or dogs getting very excited, what does that typically relate to?
Right.
To me, it goes back. The first thing I think of is that they come home from work and they're excited. They see their dog. They're like, oh my gosh. And in that 5 minute, they're over loving their dog and teaching them the wrong idea of how to be with that person.
Yeah.
And so then that translates to the next time they see someone, or when they're outside and they see someone, and then they wonder why.
They think that's how to greet people.
Right.
Because you, like you just said, you just trained your dog. That's how to greet you. And then you get mad when he does that
with
each time
I
come home.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, like you said, you literally just taught him that is how to greet you when you're excited.
Mm-hmm.
I always say there's no sometimes commands. Either it always is allowed or it is never allowed.
Yeah.
Because sometimes commands are extremely unfair and unclear to a dog. You're asking him to decide when the sometimes is. they're always going to think it's sometime.
Right.
As far as they're concerned, it's always allowed.
Yeah.
Just sometimes you get mad. I don't know why.
Right.
That is
but,
true.
Yeah, our dogs are very excited to see us, all of our dogs,
Yeah.
when we get home.
I think for a trainer, it's easier to figure out how to balance all of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For a typical owner that doesn't actually know anything regarding behavioral stuff or training stuff, then it's harder for them to draw a line between loving your dog and loving your dog too much.
Yeah.
Yes.
So this is an easy one that we could easily explain. So what should they do when they come home if their dog keeps jumping on them?
I would come in and be very just neutral. You don't acknowledge the dog. You don't go, oh my God, buddy, you're here. Like, because then you're gonna, every time you come in, the dog's gonna
Control
go,
your
wow.
energy first.
Yeah.
If you expect to control your dog's
Yeah.
Yeah.
energy. Yeah.
So it's all about you have to create the picture you want your dog to do. So if that means when you come in, you want your dog to just chill out for a
Be
sec,
calm.
then you need to come in and be chill.
Yeah.
And then when you see the behavior that you actually are happy with, that's when you pet them, right?
Correct. Yep.
So if they're jumping, we're not petting.
Yep.
And, our dogs are super excited. We just have a rule. All 4 paws have to be on the floor if you want me to pet you.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You can spin around a little bit and be all excited and do the spins and, and just don't knock furniture over and don't be crazy.
Right.
But, of course, they're full of energy.
Right.
They're super happy to see us, whether
Yeah.
it's we've been gone 1 minute or 8 hours. It's basically the same energy.
Yeah,
level.
seriously.
All the time.
Just go out in the garage for 30 seconds, come back
Oh my
in.
God, you came back. It's like, dude, I was gone for 2 minutes. What the hell? But at that, then we'll engage. If there's barking, stand up. I'm walking to where I'm going and we're done.
Yep.
If they're jumping, same thing. I'm walking, just like you said, Juliana.
Right.
We'll see that when we do lessons with our clients, because then they come get their dog. Then we'll say, okay, we taught your dog impulse control, because this is really foundational impulse control is what we're describing here. And we'll tell them, if your dog jumps, don't pet him. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. And then we bring the dog
They
out.
do exactly that.
Buddy, how you doing? And they're just and they get the dog to jump on them.
Right.
And they get on the ground
then
and
it's like,
baby
We
talk.
just talked about
They'll get
this.
excited and then they'll say no. And I'm like, but this
But
is
you
so
said-
conflicting. Like,
Yeah.
You just basically cued your dog to do
Right,
this.
yeah.
So if you think it's confusing to your dog, my God, our clients sometimes really struggle with that.
Yeah.
So just imagine if you're struggling with it, how your dog must struggle with it, because they're not digesting thoughts and contexts
Yeah.
to the degree that we are.
Yeah.
Uh,
This is true.
Yes, all the time. Yeah, that one to me is like the easiest one to solve, is jumping on
People's.
people when you first come home. Your, like you said, your energy and what you allow or reinforce by petting.
Reinforce, yeah.
Because if you pet the dog when they're doing that, you are reinforcing. You're basically marking, yep, you're going to get what you want. They're doing it for a paycheck. Their paycheck is whatever they wanted, whether it's a treat or pet or love and affection. That's the paycheck. So take away the paycheck, you'll take away usually the behavior, because there is no paycheck in it.
I have a fun question for you
Yeah.
guys. What is actually an embarrassing behavior that you feel your dogs do, whether it's here or outdoors or in your home? Because I can picture one for one of my dogs.
Okay.
I know one too.
So what's one, Laura?
Lincoln barks at everybody that comes in our house.
Yeah.
And he's going to do it. And sometimes it's embarrassing because he doesn't bark. He's 92-pound dog. And he comes up and he rams you in your gut and barks at you. And we've tried to train him out of it. It doesn't. And some people don't like that. But that is what
Yeah,
he does.
Since we know that, we tell people
Yes.
he's going to bark at you.
He's going to ram you in your stomach.
3 times. It's like his pattern. And he's going to muzzle punch you. He's going to ram his nose in your stomach because he wants you to pet him.
Yeah.
And then we tell people, don't pet him if he's doing that.
Yeah.
And then when he stops, then pet him.
Yeah.
So as long as our daughter's Pekingese is not at the house, he'll stop after 3 barks. But if she's there, she's just barking.
Anyway.
that one's embarrassing because I can't get him to quit because the energy of the other Pekingese keeps him going. So that to me is embarrassing. The other one's not because he's just kind of protective and he's also a bit of a butt in a bully kind of way. He wants to see if that does intimidate you. If it does, he kind of likes that.
He likes to bully people.
Yeah, he likes to bully people if he can. He's never bitten anyone they were with unless he tried to do something wrong. He'd definitely protect us. But yeah, it only embarrasses me when, our daughter's dog is there because then it's hard to get him to stop.
Okay. It embarrasses me when women come in the house.
He'll stop at 3.
But when women come in the house, it's sometimes a lot of people are afraid of Link. He's a big dog.
Just is intimidating.
So
for sure. That would be
that's embarrassing to me. But what is yours, Julie?
Oh,
It can be Buddy.
Well,
It is Buddy?
Buddy's is not that bad. Buddy is just that he demands love.
Yeah,
all the
but
time.
that's good.
If multiple people come in my place, he'll come up and he'll be like this.
Oh, he does the same thing.
Come on, like give me
Nuzzle in
some
there
love.
for a pet.
Yeah,
And then the
yeah.
Lincoln does that.
Yeah.
After you pet him, he'll do the same darn
Yeah.
thing. He'll just keep butting you with
He
his
won't
head.
bark anymore, though.
But
Yeah,
Whoopi's
he
is
won't
really
bark.
bad. Though.
What's Whoopi do?
So Whoopi, so when there's at least more than two people that come over at my house, he starts to get overstimulated and overexcited, and he will grab any and all toys and just start humming the crap out of them.
Oh, no.
We used to have a friend like that.
He's a little guy.
He'll
too.
literally go on forever.
Oh, no.
I have to take him all out of the
You have
room.
to remove the object.
It's just, I don't know. He gets excited to see people, and he's like, yeah, and then he
Hums
just,
it up.
just
Now
hums it all out.
stuffed animal
That's
pillow.
hilarious. That'd be a good one.
We had a friend that had a wiener dog that did the same thing.
Hedgehog, little baby
Just little
hedgehogs.
dogs.
Yeah, it's a hedgehog, and they would just keep buying him hedgehogs when he destroyed one
Yeah.
by humping it too much.
Yeah.
That was years and years ago.
Yeah, that was cool.
That was a crazy dog.
But you're Wyatt. Which one of yours? Not Abby. She's
Pickles.
Pickles. She's perfect.
Pickles hears any kind of knocking sound in the house. Be kids playing on the walls or anything. We're like alert guard dog mode.
The ghosties too.
Yes, no, there's no ghosts in my house. Stop with the
You
juju.
think there's not?
The barking. It's an alert thing. He's not
Yeah.
being
Yeah.
bad. It's not excessive. It's just annoying.
Yeah.
Sometimes. The other one is when people come over jumping.
Yeah.
And I think it's mostly because I'm just not that social. Not that many people come over to my
Yeah.
house.
Yeah.
So I do not get a lot of repetitions fixing the problem because
Yeah.
they're going to jump on me or the wife or the kids.
Yeah.
We fix that problem. I just need enough warm bodies to come over and I just haven't had enough yet.
That's a
Yeah.
good point. Because, we worked from home for several years. So we never had a lot of people
Yeah.
ever
Come over.
we were at home a lot, obviously, because I always joked our dogs only know the male person
Yeah.
because they never really saw people, and it was a new state, so we didn't know people, and that is
What if
kind
you got a new
that is
male person?
difficult to
They like the
fix.
male person.
Yeah, they did.
No, they liked everybody. It was just Georgie
That
and
is a difficult
Abby.
problem. Guarding the door or jumping on people.
Yeah.
If you don't have what you said, enough repetition, you don't have enough visitors to get them the repetitions to show them the behavior you want them to model.
And that's a problem with the UPS, the Amazon people, is they bring the package, dog barks, guy leaves. So now the dog says one. You got that
Yeah.
guy to go.
You
even
got him
though-
to go by barking.
So the problem that becomes
you
a
think
whole
you
big
know.
old circle thing because the only person that comes to your door always leaves.
When
The
he
dog
barks.
learns that when they bark, they leave. So when someone comes in the house, sometimes that turns into a spicy little situation
Yeah.
because they're supposed to leave.
So, there may be somebody listening to this right now that's
Yeah.
kind of the same. Yeah, you just don't have a lot of company or
Pay
visitors.
neighbors.
You just need to ask a neighbor or two to kind of help you out.
Yeah.
You need the repetitions, and it doesn't have to be all day. Just
Yeah.
10-minute cycle, and then be done.
Yeah.
And then next day, 5 or 10 minutes. It could be somebody different, but you're going to need that repetition.
Just start ordering stuff off Amazon.
Yeah, just instead of buying several things, buy one in the morning and one in the afternoon. So Amazon comes twice a day.
But they can't, but they're going to come in your house. That's the problem I just said. They come
Yeah.
and leave. You got to have someone come in your house.
You get the
Pizza
Walmart
guy.
food delivery.
The pizza
They
guy.
go in your house.
See, order pizza.
Yeah, pizza.
Amazon.
It's healthy.
Order them.
Just
And then take your dog for that 20-mile run.
Just throw money at the problem. That's the answer.
Or go get training. But still, at-home stuff is different. Some people think that you take a dog to a dog trainer, you're going to get a robot dog, everything in the home is going to be
Everything's
fixed.
gonna be
But it's not true. It is as long as you're consistent and have very good clarity, and you have to work on it at home. It's just
And
like,
you reinforce everything your dog learned.
yes. So the dog knows it.
But you can't expect your dog to carry the load. Hey, you've been trained. You know how to behave now.
Nope.
So no, you still have to help and reinforce everything. Otherwise,
That's
your dog's going to take the point of least resistance. He's going to go back to the way things used to be.
Yes.
I remind people, your dog did not sign up for dog training.
That's right.
Your dog thought life was pretty cool. This
the way it was.
Yeah. So he's not the one that thought there was a problem that needed to be resolved. This was all your idea. So you need to get on board and reinforce everything that we've taught your dog and stay consistent with it. Otherwise, why wouldn't your dog go back to the way things used to be? He didn't think there was any problems with that.
Yeah, he's like a alcoholic that doesn't even know alcoholism exists.
Right.
Yeah.
He thinks he's normal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he doesn't understand he has a problem. Or he is the problem.
He is the problem.
I was going to say the best example to describe that is when someone goes to the gym.
Yeah.
And they get very well,
Buffed.
like toned and all of that. If you don't keep up with what you're eating and how much you go to the gym and how much you do cardio and blah, 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 obviously you're going to lose the way your body looks.
Yeah,
so it's
go
the
back to
same
looking
thing
like
with dog training. They go through these amazing 3-week, 4-week boarding trains that they have here, that we have here. And then they don't keep up with the work and they wonder why their dog starts to fall out. You have to put in the work.
Gym.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's for all dogs. We have our older dogs awesomely trained, but when we moved to Texas for about a year and a half, we did nothing. We went hikes with them, but we didn't do any formal training. They just lived in the house, did whatever.
Got lazy.
And he said that was the most awesome life ever. He likes to be trained, but he got a little rusty and
He did.
There's
Then-
still work to them.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
still had to dial
dial him back in.
We started realizing we let our dogs get too sloppy,
Yeah.
spoiled, basically.
Spoiled, yes.
And, we had to tune them back in.
Yeah.
And you can rather quickly.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But
Because they like it.
That's
Most
what
dogs
I have
like
to
to
do
do
with-
all this stuff.
Pickles right now, so we got to go back to an e-collar, get him
Yeah.
back dialed in, off-leash work, 'cause that's where it's just off-leash.
yeah, it's all
stuff.
off leash.
I'm nitpicking.
Yeah.
He's a really good, but he's not as good as I want him
Yeah.
to be. It's a little embarrassing sometimes.
Yes.
I love picklers.
The pickles.
Big old
Picklers.
meathead.
Well, if you are struggling with a behavior that embarrasses you, reach out to us. We'd love to help you and your dog communicate better, help them understand the behaviors that you would like to see, and hopefully eliminate some of those behaviors you would rather not see as much of or any more of. And on the next episode, we're going to be talking about the first day of the rest of your life. Day one with your new adult rescue dog. What are the foundations that you should do day one, day two, to really set the right expectation, and so you can really help that dog integrate into your family quickly, with a lot of clarity and less behavioral issues, less frustration on both of your parts. If any part of what we talked about today connected with you, I'd like to invite you to reach out to us on our website, k-9culture.com. Feel free to click on the Contact Us tab and reach out to us on what your training goals are, or maybe just have a question that you'd like us to answer on an upcoming podcast. You can do that too. And be sure to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. And again, if you are needing help with your dog, we'd love to help you. You can reach out to us via the phone or our website, k9culture.com. And again, next week, we will be discussing day one with your new adult rescue dog. And from all the team here at K9 Culture, thank you for spending part of your day with us. And until next week,
Go have fun with your dog.